Hi guys, it's Stuart Ryder from Ryder Cycle Centre. Welcome to this session. If you haven't done already, please do subscribe. Tell your friends about it. Get them to subscribe as well. The more subscribers we'll get, the better it is. It helps me to promote the channel and get it out there to everybody. And hopefully it will be of some benefit during this indoor season. Okay, now just to clarify one thing, you can do these sessions on a turbo trainer, okay? You're not going to get the full benefits of what rollers will give you, but you can do them on your turbo. So just set all your resistance setting to 0 or as low as you possibly can. Remember, it's all about our leg speed and our RPMs, okay? So you can do this on your turbo. Right. Let's get going. Let's get on our bike, start our 5-minute warm-up, and then I'll run through what this session entails. Okay. Right, so we're starting our 5-minute warm-up. So choose a nice steady gear, minimal resistance, and let's build ourselves up to about 80 RPM for our 5-minute warm-up. Okay guys, just to run through a few of the features you can see on the screen. I have got myself plugged into Swift, just so that we've got something else to look at rather than me. But what you can see is with my speed and K sensor, you can see my RPMs that I'm personally doing. I've got my heart rate monitor in so you can see how hard I'm having to work. Do ignore my watts and speed. It's all about our RPMs. And in that big white box, that's our countdown workout timer. So as I said, we've got just coming up to 3.5 minutes of our warm-up to go. Okay, so this session is kind of a beginner, moderate level. We're going to be working at RPMs for a 2.5 to 2.5 minute duration, but we're going to be shifting from the inner ring to the outer ring. Okay, so for the first set, we'll be doing 2 minutes at 80 RPM in our inner chain ring. And after those 2 minutes, we'll shift up to the big chain ring, remaining at 80 RPM for 2.5 minutes. The third set will be 2 minutes at 90 RPM in the inner ring. And the fourth set will be 2.5 minutes in the outer chain ring, again at 90 RPM. Then our fifth set will be 2 minutes in the inner ring at 90 plus RPM. And then 2.5 minutes in the outer chain ring at 90 plus RPM. And we're going to repeat that twice. Okay. Right, I hope you got that, but don't worry, I'll be giving you plenty of warning about shifting up and down. Now, one of the things you're going to find is that your wheel speed is going to drastically reduce when you shift from the big ring down to the inner ring. And that is really going to require you to have to concentrate quite a bit to keep yourself on the rollers. Now, when you pedal nice and fast on rollers and your speed increases, you find it fairly easy to stay into the roller. It doesn't require as much concentration as when you're shifting down the gears. You lose that gyroscopic effect of your wheels, and it's just a little bit harder to balance. So this is really going to be working on your bike handling skills, your concentration, as well as the leg speed. Okay? So make sure you concentrate, guys. Okay, we've got a minute to go. Okay, now as far as gears at the back, I'm probably halfway down my block. Okay? And and I'm on 11 speed, 1128. So just choose a gear that you feel comfortable with spinning with minimal resistance on the pedals. Lovely. Okay, and now I'm just going to drop down into my inner ring at the front to get ready for our first set. Okay. Okay, so even though my RPMs are just above 80, my speed is drastically reduced, my wheel rotational speed, and I'm having to really concentrate on staying steady on the rollers. Okay guys, we've got 10 seconds to go, so go down into your inner ring at the front, and a good gear at the back, probably in the middle, and off we go at 80 RPM. Good. Nice and steady. How are you finding that? Definitely requires a lot more concentration on your pedal technique to stay in the middle of the roller. Now I've got my new rollers today, my Kreitler rollers from Halo Cycles. Now these aluminium drums are not concave like my Tax rollers, so I have to work just a little bit harder to keep the bike in the middle. So I've got to keep my concentration. Okay, how's that feeling? Okay, I'm going a bit too fast. Try and keep it at 80 RPM. We've got a minute to go. Good. Concentrate on that pedal technique. It's nice and smooth. Lovely. I'm just going a bit too much over 80. I want to stay at least 80 RPM, maybe just a bit above, but definitely not below. Good, we've got 20 seconds to go. So now, in 20 seconds, we're going to shift up to the big ring and 2.5 minutes at 80 RPM. So prepare yourself to shift up. In 5 seconds, 3, 2, 1. There we go, shift up and back at 80 RPM. Let's just pick that up. There we go, 80 RPM, good. How was that? How did that gear shift go? Nice and smooth, I hope? So 80 RPM. Because we've now gone up the gears, my wheels are turning faster, and it's just a little bit easier now to centralize myself on the rollers, but there's now a little bit more resistance on my pedaling. Good. Okay, I'm just going a bit too fast. Let's stick at 80. Good stuff. Okay guys, we've got about a minute to go. So you should be in your big ring at the front. I'm about halfway down on the back, and we should be going around about 80 RPM, maybe just a little bit higher, but definitely don't go below 80. Good. How does that feel? Okay. Okay, got about 25 seconds to go. Okay, wait for my instructions. Okay, in 15 seconds we're going to shift back down to the small ring at the front. Back down to our small ring and go up to 90 RPM. Okay? 3, 2, 1, shift down, 90 RPM. And again, you'll find that your wheel speed will drastically reduce. So now you're going to have to concentrate just a bit more to keep yourself on that rollers. And again, make sure you adopt a lovely smooth pedal technique. Good. Now you can see from my heart rate, I'm not having to work too hard. We're just hovering over 100. So I'm not getting much of a CV workout at the moment, but what I am having to work on is my bike handling skills on the rollers. Doesn't help that I'm slightly skew-whiffed to the computer screen, which is sending me off to the right every now and again. Got to concentrate, multitasking. Good, how does that feel? We've got about a minute to go. Lovely. Hey, just been overtaken by a runner there. Okay. We're coming to the end of this set in a second, and then we'll be shifting up to the big ring for 90 RPM for 2.5 minutes. Okay, so make sure you get a nice smooth gear change. When I change gear, I just take the strain off the pedals. It should take no more than a pedal revolution to change gear, but I just take the driving force off the chain, off the crankers and pedals. I soft pedal. So 3, 2, 1. It's up there in gear and straight up to 90 RPM. And again, your wheel speed should really increase now. It's a little bit easier to stay center on the rollers. Good. Now I've got to say, my first impressions of these new rollers is, wow, yes, I can definitely feel a lot smoother, a lot quieter than my old Tax ones. I've got to like, in fact, I prefer these drums to the Tax ones that were concave. Yeah, I have to concentrate just that bit more to stay in the middle of the roller. Like it. Oh, isn't it nice to be able to feel things that are better than previous? I can feel it, it's good. Nice bit of kit, really happy. There we go. If you're interested in these rollers, just pop over to Halo Cycles. Google Halo Cycles, they're the importers of Kreitler rollers. Take a look at their webpage. And again, they've got some very favourable things to say about rollers. Thanks guys. Okay, just under a minute to go. 90 RPM in our big ring at the front, and again I'm halfway down my block at the back. Good. Keep it up. Okay, now I've reached 90 RPM. My heart rate just increased slightly, so getting a bit more of a workout. We've got 30 seconds to go. Okay. So in 30 seconds we're going to drop that down to the inner ring, and we're going to be pedaling at 90 RPM plus. So I want you to be pedaling at an RPM that you can sustain for that 2 minutes. Okay, good form, it's important. Remember, your wheel speed is going to reduce, so you're going to have to concentrate even more to stay on your rollers. Okay. And shift down. Oh, okay, here we go. So I'm managing around about 105 at the moment. There's minimal resistance on the pedals. I really am spinning the legs. And I've got to make sure I concentrate on my form and technique. A lovely smooth pedal stroke. No thumping down on the pedals here. That's going to make me all jittery and juddery on the rollers. So I'm concentrating to pedal very efficiently. Good. I can feel my core firing off just to steady me on the bike as well. Good. Okay, I'm just dropping my RPMs. Let's pick them back up again. There we are. Good, well done. How's that feel? Keep it up, guys. Okay, 30 seconds to go. And we'll go back up to the big ring. And 90 RPM plus. 2.5 minutes of good hard work. Okay, heart rate's at about 115 at the moment. Again, minimal resistance on the pedals, but when I'm going to shift now up to the big ring, you're going to feel a bit more resistance and the heart rate should go up. Okay, in 3, 2, 1, shift up. There we go. Good stuff. 2.5 minutes, guys. Nice fast RPMs. As fast as you comfortably can go. Keep your form, keep your technique all the way through. Lovely. Good stuff. Well done. Okay, heart rate has gone up, so I'm just working a bit harder now. Lovely, keep it going. One minute to go. Good. Thirty seconds to go. So my heart rate's got up to about 140 now, so I'm having to work quite hard. Okay, last 10 seconds. Keep good form throughout, right to the end. And rest for 2 minutes. Okay, so just pedal at an RPM and a gear selection of your choice. Just for 2 minutes. Well done. Whew. Lovely stuff, that was good. So that's our first cycle done. We're going to do that one more time, okay? One more time. Now's a good opportunity to maybe change gear at the back. So if you felt that that was just a little bit too easy for you, okay? Maybe you want to just a little bit more resistance on the pedals. Maybe you want to raise your heart rate up a bit more. You can maybe shift down the cassette on the back. Or if you found, as we went through the sets, it became just a little bit too hard to keep those RPMs up and keep the form, maybe just shift up a cog, just to take the resistance off the pedals a little bit, okay? Good. Wow, those 2 minutes went quick. Okay, so we're going to repeat this, that cycle again. So in a second we'll be shifting down to the inner ring and 2 minutes at 80 RPM. Okay, and off we go. Inner ring, 80 RPM. Okay, let's make sure I stick to 80 because before I was going a bit too high. Right, there we go, 80 RPM. Now this is definitely working on, this is a bit of technical training, this is. I said physically, this is nice and easy, but I'm having to work quite hard on my technique, keeping my bike handling skills. Good. So when do we use bike handling skills? What's the point of bike handling skills? Well, there's going to be times where you're cycling out with friends. Some of you might participate in sportifs, club rides, training with friends, and learning how to work with other riders is important. Learning how to keep your line is very important. It really isn't good form to see riders just swerving unexpected all over the road. So keeping good bike handling skills is very important. If you're following a rear wheel, being comfortable on the bike. And that leg speed, the leg speed is very important. Maybe you need to make that quick acceleration. Maybe you're behind and you're slightly losing a wheel and you've got to really increase the leg speed to catch up in front. And efficient climbing as well. High RPM, spinning those legs feel comfortable. Bit of power transfer as well. Been able to hold really good form at high RPM, upper climb, pedal efficiency. These are all things that you will benefit from when you get back onto the road. You really will. Okay. Right, that's our 2 minutes almost done. We're going to shift up to the big ring. 80 RPM for 2.5 minutes. Off you go. There we go. Up to 80 RPM. Good. Okay guys, 1.5 minutes to go, 80 RPM, there I am. Okay, the heart rate is just dropping a little bit, that's good because we're only doing 80 RPM in the big ring, nice and steady. Concentrating on form and technique, good. Okay, 30 seconds to go, 30 seconds. And then we'll be dropping that back down to the small ring at the front at 90 RPM for 2 minutes. Okay, so get ready to shift down to the small ring at the front and 90 RPM for 2 minutes. In 3, 2, 1, shift down, 90 RPM. So again, that sudden change of wheel speed just requires you maybe just to reset yourself at the rollers, and now maybe have to switch your concentration to your bike handling skills. Keep an eye on your RPMs, try and stay at 90. Good. Lovely. Oh, there's so many things to think about. Good. Okay, we've got a minute to go. .90 RPM in our inner ring, and I'm halfway down the block on the back, and I've got minimal resistance on the pedals. So rather than getting a CV workout right now, I'm having to concentrate on my pedal technique and my bike handling on the rollers. 30 seconds to go. Okay, get ready to shift up to the big ring and get back up to 90 RPM. Lovely. In 3, 2, 1, and shift up. Oh, that was a nice gear change. Lovely. Back up to 90 RPM. Okay, so now it's a little bit easier to stay controlled on the rollers. Still concentrating hard on my pedal technique. There's just a little bit more resistance now on my pedal stroke. So I wouldn't be surprised if my heart rate just starts to climb slightly. Lovely. Good stuff. Okay, just under 1.5 minutes to go. Don't forget, guys, please leave a comment below. Really nice to hear what you think about these sessions. Always love a little bit of constructive criticism as well, because I'm still learning. Hope you find the videos informative and useful for you. Again, please share, let people know, and spread it on your social media, amongst your cycling buddies, maybe with your local club. Maybe get, again, if you are trying this on your turbo, maybe think about getting a set of rollers. They're a lot cheaper than turbos, and you get an awful lot more out. They really are a fantastic bit of kit. Okay, we've got 30 seconds to go. Right. So, in a few seconds, we're going to be dropping back down to the inner ring, and we're going to be doing 90 RPM plus. Okay, a pedal rotation that you're comfortable with. where you can keep good form throughout. So 3, 2, 1, shift down. See if you can stay over 90 RPM, but try and choose a gear, nice high RPM, and try and keep as good a form as you can. It's really quite tricky to ride high RPMs in an easy gear. There's minimal resistance on the pedals to work against, so you really have to concentrate on your leg speed, your leg rotation. Now, I'm not pulling up with my feet. I'm probably concentrating a bit more at the 5 to 7 o'clock part of my pedal stroke, but I'm not pulling all the way around. I'm trying to stay lovely and smooth with my pedal rotation. What I'm not doing is what often you can do on, well, you probably do it on the road, or what you might do on your turbo, which is to thump down on the downstroke of the pedal. And because you're strapped in, you can't really feel that too much. But on rollers, if you adopt that thumping style, you become quite erratic on the rollers. So a lovely smooth pedal stroke. Good. Again, I'm having to work a bit harder now. Heart rate's gone up. We're coming up to our last set now, our last set of this training session. We're going to be shifting up to the big ring, 2.5 minutes at 90 RPM plus. Okay. Three, 2, 1, shift up. Yeah, nice smooth gear shift, that was good. "90 RPM plus, here we go. Last set. Make this a good one, guys. Good. Whew. Going well. About 1.5 minutes to go, guys. 1.5 minutes. Last set. And then we'll start our recovery and warm down. Well done. Keep it up, keep it up. Working hard now. Heart rate's getting close to 150. So going up in the zones. If you're wondering, 48 years of age, so my max heart rate is 172, so it's 220 minus your age, gives you estimated max heart rate. And based on that, you can research what zones to work in. I'm getting a good CV workout now. Talking doesn't help, but hey ho. 10 seconds to go, guys. Lovely. All the way to the very end. And we've got 5-minute warm down. So, whew. Choose any gear you're comfortable in and just slowly reduce your heart rate and warm down. Good. So how did you find that, guys? Let us know. Leave a comment down below. It's always good to share how you felt in the workout. It's amazing that somebody might read that comment and go, do you know what, I felt the same. Or maybe if you did feel something and you don't want to type it because, oh, what they're talking about, well, no, share it, let us know. It's always good to share your experiences. Did you do anything just to make this workout a little bit easier or a little bit harder? There we go. Maybe your own little bit of customization. Yeah, please leave a comment below. Good stuff. Great. As I say, I've been doing a lot of rollers recently. One, to build up our little library of videos. But the weather's been pretty awful at the moment. We've had a lot of rain up here in North Yorkshire. A lot of rain. So yeah, I find other ways to get to work, otherwise I ride every day. But yeah, I love doing rollers during the off season, just to help get that fitness, get that leg speed. That's really good. And when the sun comes out again, my legs and my fitness are all ready to ride back on the road. Good stuff. Again, just to go over a little bit of equipment here, just to let you all guys know the kind of things that I use here. This is just an old road bike. I don't have any brakes on this, I don't need them on rollers. This is just an old second-hand bike with spare parts. Okay, I've got a Wahoo heart rate monitor and a Wahoo cadence sensor. And this is the cadence and speed sensor that you strap onto your chainstay, with a magnet on the left-hand crank arm and on one of the spokes. Okay. I've got Zwift running in the background because obviously my computer can pick up the signals coming from my speed and cadence sensor. That's how you can see my data. I've got my phone on the handlebars with Zwift Companion opened up, and from there again I can see all my personal detail. I can see what you can see. Okay, I've got my normal road tyres on. These aren't special turbo tyres, just normal hard wearing kind of commuter tyres, not too expensive, but I've got them pumped up to about 100 psi. And to top it off, I've got my brand new Kreitler rollers. These are a big upgrade on my Tax rollers. Aluminium drums. Fantastic bit of kit. Little premium product, but I'm going to be using them on a regular basis, many times a week, throughout the whole winter season, off season, indoor season. So worth every single penny. Great. We're almost done. So that's it, we're about to sign off. Don't forget to rehydrate, guys. Don't forget to stretch. Grab a little bite to eat, start refueling the body. Hope you enjoyed that video. Please give it a like or a thumbs up, leave a comment. It'd be great to hear from you. And I look forward to seeing you on our next session. Cheerio, guys. Be safe. Ta-da.